Okay, I what I'm gonna do. I go to read out some stuff because I think it's very important to put that to do that. And the beginning of what I try to say and what read out is what is Umbanda and what is Umbanda within Umbanda or inside of Umbanda. So because we have like so many Umbandas, especially from the south of Brazil, some parts of the southwest of Brazil, and the west of Brazil, the east of Brazil, the north of Brazil, the northeast of Brazil, the northwest of Brazil. So that every family, every art is different because this Brazil is geographically different. For example, you have the coast, you have Atlantic forest, and then you have a little countryside. You have the Cerrado, it's more the dry area, and we have also the microcrimes around the mountains because we have the stuff starts in there too, and then you have the Pantanal area in the Amazon area is more wet area as well, and then you have this that's really up Amazon. You have the denser forest, it was like different, and then if you go down south, you have like the mountains, but also as we have the pampas, where the plan, the very plan side, is a as a yeah we call in Portuguese the planis, but it's a very plain place. It's like here in Holland, everything's flat. Basically, the flat land of Brazil, especially in the south. So therefore, because of this geographically way of living, so the old way of the venerated ancestors, in especially Umbanda itself, Umbanda, Kimanda, or any ATR religions inside of Brazil, you'll be slightly different because it's accordingly like the community, according to the guidelines for the elder especially, and also the spiritual guides has been guiding people out there. So everything's big slightly different, but that's not no. Let's go back in what I'm trying to say now a little bit about the Zumbanda itself. When I talk about the Zumbanda is more or less over 100 years after the founder. Why do I say that? Because, for example, like, 'cause there's a lot of if you're talking about the Umbanda itself, before the Zélio Fernandes de Moraes is organized Umbanda and then become like official, let's put it so as in paper, this practicing has been going on since let's put it this way, since the slaves from Africa, but also as well the native people, the Brazilians, the in the Americans, who was venerating the practicing of the ancestrality. So therefore, it's not something was just someone just to start doing it, was there before, and they just be because there was so much diversity inside the country itself, and also much the ethnies was mixing much and get amalgamate because a lot of people foreigners was get inside the land to organize that in different way. They try to okay, let's just get the practicing from everybody. It made it synthesizes one way of thinking, and then it starts from there. Basically, that's what it is. Just was just organization what that happened before, because basically when if you're looking the histories also as well on the literature, also where the elders always say and inform us is like there's another basically rituals and practice was being done before that official name Umbanda began established in Brazil. And this is when we're talking about the founder of the Umbanda, when was organized, when it was like put in paper, let's put it this way, that literally they are put it on like okay, the who was the founder of Umbanda was the Amerindian, was the Caboclo, that's we call, because in Brazil we are very 100% mestizo people. Okay, doesn't matter if they are white, black, yellow, whatever their people say, we are mestizo because Brazilian is here by the day by default. We have that we are coming from the African heritage, we have the European heritage, we have the American heritage. So therefore, we can't be like Europeans, pure pure race, or if you are from Africa, you're pure black, or if you are from Asia, pure yellow, whatever. These kind of things in Brazil, we can't say that. Unfortunately, like No, no, not unfortunately. I think it's fortunate actually because I think it is. We have this ancestrality in a very different way because it's we are agglutinate of different people for different counts of the planet, and that make us, best way, make us basically. For example, here in Europe, I have a lot of situations most of the time because the people are saying, "Oh, because you're black," in the automatic come from Africa, Caribbean, whatever, because I speak English. Okay, it's fine. When I say the Brazilian, they're like, "Oh, you don't look like a Brazilian." Like what Brazil look like? Because they don't. People don't travel to the when normally people don't travel most of the time, especially in Europe. They go to Spain or whatever. When they don't come, they don't travel continental away. Let's put it this way. Whether they do, the ones knows they understand. They really recognize. Oh, you're from Brazil. But the others doesn't. So therefore, like, okay, automatically put like in North America and or somewhere in Africa or somewhere in the Caribbean, and they were like in Brazil. Oh, they're shocked or Aboriginal, and 99% they get that all the time here. It was quite fun as well. And then like, okay, but in reality, like I have also European ancestors, they were like, what? This kind of thing, this kind of shock. And oh yes, I have American ancestors, so oh. So all those things it's difficult for people to get grasp about this, but it's really interesting to explain it to people like, well, we are mixed race and we are mestizos, we are caboclos, basic in Brazil. And when talking Umbanda, exactly the same. We get to like, okay, what the foundation of Umbanda? 99% the literature is gonna be say that is based the founder of the Umbanda itself, after this being put in paper, is the caboclo that sete encruzilhadas in Portuguese, or I translate as English where the correct way was mestizo of the seven crosses. Why that? When you talk about seven crosses, you talk about directions. The seven crosses, you talk about 90% if we're looking at, let's put it this way, I'm in, the you'll be I go to put in a very clear way of the Jikenga, basically. So you have directions of a Jikenga, like this, be like a cross itself, and then you have a different points. But also as well, it is Umbanda get on that as well. And we know we talk about the seven cross in 99% for entities in Portuguese. What that means is this is a guy who guarding the seven directions of life, seven directions of um, spiritual realm, seven directions of the possibilities. So it's about possibilities, basically. He is able, capable to do a lot of functions inside of the family, in fact of the lineage, in fact about the community itself. So that's why he is the center. He can go to any direction. So talk to this guy. He can point you different directions, the same directions. But because is seven has been number Kabbalistic, the religiosity. So therefore, he is the center in a way of give guidance, giving you excuse me, giving information, giving you the direction, giving you possibilities. And 99% when you talk about the crosses, especially in spirituality in Brazil, we're talking about the possibilities. Possibilities. So therefore, doesn't mean this guy is the high up. No, no, he has the knowledge to give you possibilities. That's why he can communicate with every single spiritual realm. Doesn't matter. He can do it. That's why they have the name of the mestizo or black elder, whatever. When they have entities in Brazilian religions that's called seven, that's me. He's a guy has given possibilities to do whatever. He has possibilities. He is the one that open. He has the key. He has the direction. He has the knowledge. He has the tools that every single possibilities that you needed to have to make your life better or community to make life better. He has the knowledge. He has the possibility. He's the one that opened the door. He's one can communicate with the other, spirits of the spiritual realm with our ancestors. He is the one who's go. For example, we have that the let's elucidate it here. If you have the conferee of the elders or the conseil of elders, he is the one going to talk on your behalf with everybody. Okay, if you have the big meeting of all the grand elders, you go to sit on top, under the trees. Let's discuss about this subject. He is the one who go to talk about it and to be the possibilities that can be what the problem could be solved. That's the reason why you guys they have this name seven crosses. That is important because a lot of people say, "Oh, because it's a seven, blah blah blah." Because they hear all the bullshit, but people don't explain properly. Second, and why in Umbanda, especially you have a lot of books like you can see like as Umbanda, White Umbanda, and Demanda, and the Demand. Let's put it this way. When you talk about Umbanda, especially Umbanda practice after the slave abolitions was very well. Let's say Umbanda, or if I go back here, is about as in 19 no in 1888 was abolition of the slave abolition was done in Brazil. So therefore the slaves, the African slaves or any is the slave ship in Brazil was abolished. No, let's put this way, abolished. And after that, what this is all these people from like the elite people, let's put this way, all this like the colonels, the governors, all these people was like slave masters of the past. The sons basically because it was like this in between like from 90 and like yeah 888 to when it starts was when it was the 10 of April of 1989 to 1. This illusion start. They created this, stabilized. However, the main focus was to take would the remain memories of Africa to be erased. Let's put it this way. Okay, they really don't want it that the Africanity was inbreed in society because let's put it this way 99% in 800 we have like a slavery in Brazil. Rio de Janeiro was the biggest. Rio de Janeiro, Salvador, everything was biggest. However, was the illumination a movement from especially from France, like it started to get infiltrated in Brazil as the Kardecist, and then they arrive in Bahia. But the problem is like the Bahia, the ancestrality of the African society was so strong. All the ideologies, all the way of they would try to impose on people didn't gel at all. So they had, and then they moved down towards Rio. Rio was the center of the monarchy in Brazil at that time. All this elite wants to be elitized, so therefore they want to have the same benefits that the African religion was proportionate to the for the people with skill, disease, name it. Because for example, the black elders in Brazil at that time and still today, to be honest, the ones if you have no money, that those kind of things, you go for these people who like doing all the the family rituals because they knew about the herbs, they knew about the animals, they knew about what the best food should eat. All those things has been really, really clear by the knowledge by the elders. It is like ancestral, the ancestors keep that, and the people saw the benefits about it. And then there was a lot of laws was created to to give people no possibility to grow, prosper it, to get to the prosper. For example, like after the slavery, yeah, the freedom, the black slave was freedoms in Brazil. The first law, the second law was like as we call the vadiage. If the people who has not money, who has no employment, whatever, was sent to jail, basically. So therefore, imagine if you just come out of slavery and now you thought you are free. Therefore, where are you gonna go? Because there's no food provided, there's no shelter provided, there's no employment or whatever provided. They just throw you on the street. Oh, you're free now, just just manage yourself. So therefore And then all these people who was unemployed, was unwonders, there's no place to live, all those things like this. And then the police start to go after these guys to put them in jail, basically. If we put this way, if you look at the literally the one that's on the laws of Brazil after slavery, it's very important because it says a lot what's really going on. So that's why sometimes I see the books and the literature. So some people just write down things. It's really like it's fantasize, very romanticized. If you want to understand the Brazilian history, you needed to understand the law of Brazil. What has been applied, what has been applied to people at that time and the to today. You cannot separate religion in Brazil without the law. There's no way. If you don't watch, if you don't study the law, what the law was applied for the people at that time, you don't understand the full history. Because it always, the law, especially what's being, is, especially in Brazil, always be the between lines. You need to read the between lines and then you understand the full spectrum. If that was the issue, and also in this period as well, that's the other things I have to say is when the Europeans arrived in Brazil, it was a big issue because it was not woman. Brazil was without woman for 14 years. Basically, the Portuguese invaded the land. The native was there, and then the rape started to be, out wild, basically. That's why the mestizo starts from there. And then it continued when the Africans that came in as well was the same thing. And then it was the European girls that the Jews and the whatever was, and because was from were the girls from Poland and the first ones arrived and bring by the Europeans, and then they started doing for the help and for the men's for the court. So that's when then it becomes more like the raping, all the things was with the nasty thing was starting there. This is how it starts. And then this madness going on in there became a lot of the population became quite mestizo. That's why every single, especially in Brazil in the past, the government will call every single Brazilian citizen, was if you're not African, if you're not European, whatever, you're mixed for these guys, you automatically, your birth certificate, you automatic caboclo. It's still the kind of connotations we have to today. Some people don't like it, some people like or not,